Now, I would like to introduce you to Bob Hendrikx, who is a entrepreneur, visionary, and inventor in Delft, who has led, his entire last couple of years to create a sustainable startup, which he will be talking about right now.
We are right now live. Okay. Okay, then we go for it. So, hello everyone. I hope you guys are hearing me. It's weird. I'm just talking to the camera. I'm not sure if you guys are there, but if you are, it's going to be amazing. So first of all, thank you for having me. My name is Bob Hendrikx. I'm the founder of Loop. We sort of have our own makerspace, our own lab here. I'm gonna tell a little story about my adventures and how it all started. So, I mean, today we're living in this world where a dead tree has more value than a living tree. And I don't know where you're sitting right now, but probably on top of a dead tree as well. I mean, that's what we work on every day. And we as humans tend to work with dead materials while actually in nature everything is alive. So I wondered one day when I was studying architecture myself, like, hey, what happens if our everyday products turn into life? What if we start collaborating with nature? How would that world look like? And I started fantasizing about a world in which we live inside living organisms, and how would that work together? And what if our streets could light up biology? And it was really all about this imagination of everything just turning into life. I mean, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now, but in the future, that will all be organisms. So my name is Bob Hendrikx. I'm an inventor, biodesigner, architect, and I'm just here literally to explore a living world in which everything comes to life and by turning science fiction into reality. And the funny thing is, it sounds very unrealistic, like, okay, this living world, okay, but how would that look? But actually, it all started below our feet because underneath the soil lives this amazing organism, mycelium. And maybe you have heard of it, maybe you have not. But mycelium, simply said, is the root structure of mushrooms. So you can compare it to an apple tree in which the mushroom is the apple and the actual organism is the complete tree that's living beneath the soil. And is actually the biggest organism in the world with 8.9 square kilometers. And the cool thing about this is you can make a lot of things with it. So especially you guys who are, I assume, a lot of makers out there, you can create sustainable materials from it. So I'll show you simply how it's done. You create a mold, you place organic material in it, you inoculate it with mycelium, which is the fungi, and then you just let it sit in the right growing conditions. And the cool thing is nature does all the work. So here you see a time lapse in which all the mycelium wires are sort of eating all this organic material and hereby creating a three-dimensional pattern which sort of acts as glue. So I was in my own little makerspace and I thought by myself, wow, this is so amazing. We just did this. So I hang up my coat and I thought, well, it's been a wild day, after those long makerspace days, it's probably late, you want to get home. So I said, okay, this is good night. And the next morning, I came back. And what happened, 3 of my samples, they were grown together. And I thought by myself, wow, this is so interesting. Because normally I work with that material, and then I decide what happens with the organism. And here I was, really struck by the force of nature. And I thought by myself, I was only thinking about my own perspective, only thinking about what I want. It was all me, me, me. I wasn't thinking about nature. So perhaps we should do that more. So I thought, okay, what did I do? I put the organism in the oven. I totally killed it. I shredded it into pieces. But what does mycelium want? That's a very fundamental question because it turns an engineer or a designer into a biologist. And that was a transition I had to go through. So I looked into mycelium, okay, what does it really want? And simply said, it just wants to recycle that organic matter and transform it into new life. So simply said, something that's dead, it recycles it into new plant food. So I thought by myself, wow, super amazing. And actually, they can do much more than that. They can not only recycle, but they actually, in the whole supply chain of nature, the cycle of life, they share food. And there are even the cybersecurity people of the whole forest. So for example, if the tree all the way on the left of this picture gets ill, via mycelium, it communicates to other plants like, hey guys, I'm getting sick. And all the other trees are starting to make antidotes. So this is sort of a really new topic in the field of research, because normally everybody was thinking about above ground plants and animals. Now people are looking more into the soil. And I thought by myself, okay, this whole new world's opened up to me in which we can collaborate with organisms. So what if we create a living home made from mycelium, in which people actually have to nurture their environment in order for it to extend its stay. So it becomes sort of a Tamagotchi home. And I saw people looking like, hey, this guy Bob, he's crazy. What is he doing? I'm not going to live inside a dead mold. So I thought that we had to show them. Because, I mean, that's how things work. Well, people tell you you're crazy. And if they tell it enough times, then you're actually going to do something about it, right? So I showed them like, hey, guys, this is the potential. We have all this waste. We have all this organism which we can grow. We can add biodiversity to the cities. And still they were like, yeah, Bob, I don't know. So they forced me into my own makerspace, and they said, yeah, you can do it. And I mean, that's the best fuel, right? If you say they can't, if they say you can't do it, then you got to show them. So that's what we did. We created a prototype of the world's first living home at the Dutch Design Week. And it was super, super amazing. And this was right after my graduation, because of course, during graduation, I didn't have time for it. But it was a very fun experience. And actually, this was the start of the big adventure that we are on right now, together with Grish. Grish is supposed also to be in this channel. I really hope you guys hear me, but shout out to Grish. Because this was the start. Because what happened? Somebody came to me and they asked me like, hey, Bob, what happens if my grandma dies? Can I just leave her there? And I was like, oh my God, this is a crazy, crazy idea. Because I was thinking about the perspective of the organism. But what did the organism actually wanted to do? It just simply wanted to recycle us and recycle us into new plant food. And that was just so an amazing drive that we could actually, as humans, be compost instead of waste. So I thought, okay, nature leads the way. Let's see where this takes me. So I had to go after graduation, creating coffins made from mycelium in my parents' garage. And that really hits your self-esteem. You get a lot of anxiety, especially if your friends get a normal job, get normal pay and go on holiday together. It's really hard. But I was on this track and I thought, okay, let's go. Let's see what's happening. And of course, we as humans already know we're leaving a scar on a beautiful planet during our life. But actually, I learned even after that, we also leave a scar. Because what do we do now? We cut down trees, work on them intensively, and then we'll say like, hey, I'll close off myself from all nature. And I just stay there for 10 to 20 years because that's how long it takes normally to decompose a body. Or we say, hey, no matter what, you're going to get burned because I see you as waste. And I mean, that's just ridiculous because we're part of the cycle of life. And when I look at all of you guys, I just see beautiful bags of compost. And I believe you can add value to life. And unfortunately, that's not really the case because currently our body contains 219 chemicals which endanger the soil and our groundwater. So we're in this really weird situation in which we are so far-fetched from nature that we actually need the help of nature to bring us back. And I mean, that's what mycelium is for. So this is our graveyard. And I mean, this is nature's graveyard. And I love to go there. So I thought by myself, why aren't we creating these? Why can't we go from landfills to forests? So that's when we created the world's first living coffin. It really enables you to not be waste anymore, but to enrich your environment. And we're working with a living material that enables us to recover polluted soil. So working with a living organism actually comes with a lot of benefits. So mycelium has a natural function to neutralize toxins in the body and in the soil, and thereby actually increases biodiversity. So in the beginning, I was killing the organism to have sort of a sustainable product, but now I kept it alive and we got a lot of new interesting material properties. So this is also challenging. I'm challenging you guys to think beyond materials and think about, okay, in collaborating with organisms. And maybe your makerspace in the end becomes a wet lab. I don't know. Well, of course, this is how it started. Everything starts small and you will not know everything because you get more knowledge, you get uncertainty, certainty, it goes all the ways. And eventually we launched a product very successfully. Luckily, it was very scary to do it. but we got a lot of positive media attention, and yeah, mainly due to the fact that we actually are part of the cycle of life and we are here to restore nature. What I want to give on to you is really think like an organism, and to really think from the perspective of nature and how they are solving problems and how we can do it. And I don't mean mimic it, I mean literally collaborate with them. Because in the end, one way or another, you are an organism. And I think we forgot that we are just one species on Earth. And while every other species is continuously interacting with other animals, we are not. So, for example, the shark with its little fish on the side, come up with solutions for that. Like, hey, what are they doing? Why are they helping? How can we collaborate with nature? And thereby close the loop. Thank you. I think that's it. I'm not sure if there's room for questions or if that's the case. Otherwise, I will wish you guys a wonderful day and a lot of fun in your maker spaces.